Hello, everyone. I'm here with my nebulizer. Wait, can I put it? Is this going to bother you a lot? I don't know. So, the other day, yeah, maybe. Actually, maybe. So, the other day, I posted quite a joyful vlog, quite a joyful day, and I thought both for me and for whoever is watching, it's good to show the variety of days a person has. And well, it's not being the easiest of days. The other day, my grandpa died, one of them, the last one I had. And well, died. He flew from his body. But it's kind of hard to maintain my own understanding when society, all the rituals, the ceremonies, the understanding of what has happened from the people around me so different to mine. It's quite hard because it brings back the philosophy that couldn't hold me, for which I had to create my own or discover the one that feels truer. So it's like it's an interesting grief because it's not only the grief of him in physical form, which I dare to say is not as big for me, but it's like intersecting with the grief of the way we grieve in our society, the way death is understood. And actually, I didn't actually want to get into the specifics of why I think it's so nonsensical the way we grieve and the conventions around death that we have nowadays here in the West in general. But I mean, it's inevitable because it's a big part of what I'm feeling now. Like, my development has guided me to places where, well, I didn't know I would feel so displaced then in these situations with when someone from my family dies, and that's just not how I would do things the way they are done. Like, I'm talking about the funeral, the body, the talk, the perception, it's honestly, I was thinking before, it's like a culture shock for me. Like, having woken up to my nature, or to my soul, or to the fact that home is not this earth, or it honestly feels like, whoa, wait, like, do you really do it like this? Like, I had never been so involved in the process of someone dying close to me, and seeing their dead body, and like a lot of different other things. And yeah, I mean, that there's so much I want to say about this, but I don't want to get like too theoretical, because I also like wanted to challenge myself to be more vulnerable and like show another very real side of me, which is very, very vulnerable, or the core of who I am, I guess. But yeah, like, I guess I didn't expect everything that would happen from me growing or awakening, and this is one of the things I didn't expect, that of course I'm also displacing myself from not only other conventions like typical relationships, like accepting certain things, like whatever mm, normal people do, but also I'm I feel alienated to these rituals that seem to serve at least a lot of people and that are given, and that I cannot help but question. Like, I cannot help but feel or know certain parts of it are totally incongruent with who we are, with what we are, with love. It's so obvious to me. It almost like angers me having to like go back to where I don't want to be, which is this experience, this understanding of life as meaningless, or as at least as if there was this void around the meaning of life and death. Like, for me, I was little, and I mean, I've been preparing for this moment my whole life. Like, as 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 young as I can remember having any consciousness, I was worried about being the youngest one in my family, because probably I would have to, God knows how it's going to go, but there's possibilities that I would have to be experiencing the deaths of everyone else in my family because I'm the youngest one. So that thought kept me awake at night, and I'm talking like very, very young. Like, yes, as soon as I realized about life and death, or that we die, it was and it is such a big thing for me. And honestly, part of the reason that I take so seriously my spiritual path and the path of disattachment and so on, because it's I am so attached to the people I love. And even though every time less, thanks to all the work I'm doing, but it's still hard, like, unfortunately, I am still very much fearful a lot of the times. But I don't know. What I was going to say earlier is that as I was growing up, what happened for me specifically, and I honestly do think or observe this to have happened to other people as well. Wait. That is that there was such a lack in an explanation in a meaning about life and death, that this void, there was a void, because I didn't grow up religious. I didn't grow up with any spiritual language, specific spiritual language, through words I'm talking now, because through art and music is different, but now I'm talking about the void of letting the mind also understand. I don't know, I guess other people don't have also such like overactive minds. Maybe. But yeah, like I feel like I didn't get the tools, the language to face this massive void, and therefore, given this unknown, I projected all my fears, which is what a lot of other people do. And nihilism or disbelief, nothing makes sense. This is all like honestly, like a nightmare, really. This kind of this kind of experience is what I experienced up until not so many years ago of life, and it has been horrible. And more important than that, it is not true. It's not close to truth, because we can never know any certainty. So at least we have to question whatever is making us believe that this is all meaning, like this is just a belief, this is just a anything that is close to a certainty. Like if we analyze meaninglessness, and I was actually writing a post for Substack about this, if we analyze meaninglessness, it's not actually meaninglessness, or it's not actually, sorry, let me say, these are hard topics to talk about. It's not actually the void, the actual void we're fearing. When we feel pain because of meaninglessness, it's because we're getting close, we approach a certainty of life being bad, of life having a bad meaning, not of life having no meaning. The pain that comes from what we call meaninglessness or the existential void comes from us approaching or feeling a certainty that life has no meaning or that the meaning of life is bad. So I think that's very important for us to understand, because in this detail we can clearly see that it is only a distortion. It's a distortion. Like, it's not. When we feel so bad, it's not an experience of truth. Why was I saying this? I was saying this because, because there's so many things that come into play for me in this grieving process, and like so many different kinds of griefs. But a very, very important one for me is because, like, I know to some people it might sound selfish that I'm not saying, oh, I'm most sad for the death of my grandpa. I'm not sad for him. I think, and I believe, and I experience that he is actually better than he was before, and that he is alive. Not that he is not, or not that he's gone into nothingness, or not that, but that he is alive and freer than before. Not only because he was sick and he was already more towards the other world, even if his body was alive, but also because I do believe we are very constricted in this dimension and in this incarnation, in this plane of existence. So that's on one side. Then I have my own kind of grief, of void, of this kind of, oh my god, I'm never going to see this person again, I'm never going, like, this is never going to happen again. This, like, there is, like, contact with his soul is going to be harder, or at least different from now on. And I would argue that a lot of the grief that other people feel is also not for him, because again, if we are thinking about him, like, we are pretty selfish when we grieve in this way, in this kind of context that I'm speaking about. But yes, so the biggest grief is more so re-experiencing and getting in contact again with the truth for me, that the way that these rituals cannot hold me and my experience of life, that these conventions, these structures that are given in our society, around me at least, and this cannot hold my kind of experience of reality. And I've made it myself. Like, I've chosen to seek what feels better for me, and that means, and this part alone already carries so many layers, because I love my family the most, and we're gonna grieve deaths within the family altogether, and am I not going to be able to grieve them in the way that I would like while while sharing the grief with them? I guess in parts it's not black or white. I have to remind myself this, and my dichotomic, I don't know how to say in English, thinking, my extremist black or white thinking. My therapist always warns me about. So it's a gray. I will in part, but I have to accept not. Like, I did have moments where I felt connected in the grief, sadness, or this whole confusion and vulnerability. I felt, and we felt, like I did have these moments of feeling connected with people in the family now, during these days of the ceremonies. So that's very nice, and I appreciate this a lot. But yeah, I also come to face with what I already knew, but even more clearly, that this is not, like, this is not how we will grieve in my community. I think a lot of people, like, look at the state of the world. It's not only me that for what, like, it's not only me that feels these systems are not working. People are so sick in so many different ways, like in so many different ways, and also in this main one in Western society nowadays of neuroticism that Jung talked so much about. So we're talking already a few years back. But this is going crescendo. And honestly, thank God it is, because it's going to explode. It's exploding. It's exploding. It's going to explode. And some people are not going to have a chance to run away and avoid truth. So, to everyone waking up, no, I don't know. I guess this is a video about death, or about, yeah, death in another angle. I was just thinking about the title of the video. Trying to tie it together, but honestly, it was also a challenge for me to say, like, okay, show yourself also in your vulnerability. I could show myself in more vulnerability than this. This is nothing. But it is for me. It's a step. It's a step. Because recently I was also like, as I'm working on this album I'm working on now, at a snail's pace, I was also realizing, like, there's a lack in one of the characters within me. So it's spoken from various different parts of me, and I don't want to say too much, but the different archetypes we have within, and not as a metaphor, as something real, like well, I don't want to go into details, but yeah, I'm realizing how difficult it's for me to show, at least publicly. I guess I'm also like smart for not doing it. It's part of me protecting this little child I have so awake within me. But yeah, there's like, yeah, there's a character within me that I would only let the closest ones see. But if I'm completely honest, it's the one I identify the most with. This little child within me, like very, very vulnerable, that this kind of open heart, fall in love super quickly with everything, and is in pain, like in, in very also extreme states, and is just very scared, scared. Yeah, fear is the main part. And, you know, yeah, the ugly parts of me, like me being like, it's not easy for me to be without makeup, or or maybe with my eyeliner gone because I've been crying. It's not easy for me to be without makeup, or to show, yeah, that I'm just very scared, and I care. I actually do care about what people think about me. Well, even if people think I'm like crazy and I don't care, I am crazy, and I don't care mostly, every time less. But there's a part that still cares. There's a part that is like, oh, what I wish, like, I wish, you know, people would like me even if I'm crazy. I wish people would. I wish, mm, uh, people would like me even if I'm weird. I wish whatever. So I do have these kind of wishes. I wish I was pretty. I wish I had a better body. Like, there's so many vulnerabilities, and for different reasons I don't share them. Like, it's not that I don't take care of them. Maybe I should more, even more than I do. Like, hold them and acknowledge them and have compassion for them. Yeah, I mean, I no, I guess no. I know. I like big part of the work I'm doing now on my self development or spiritual journey is the compassion towards myself and my weak parts, my fearful parts. Exactly what I'm talking about. I don't know. I just had a thought, and I don't know if I want to share it or not. But I guess I am going to now. The other day, I was having like a very vulnerable moment, like crying a lot, feeling everything. And before going to sleep, and I said like, okay, one of these kind of like rock bottom. Rock bottom looks very different now than what it used to look for me. Now it's just I feel a lot, I let myself feel a lot, but I wouldn't like do anything. I wouldn't hurt myself. I wouldn't drink. I wouldn't like anything close to, yeah, self harming or self destruction. But so I was just in a very sad place, crying a lot and everything, and in need of guidance. Like, I felt, I don't want to get into it as well, but I do feel in my life, for example, there is a lack of um, guiding figures, and I do have my therapist, but over the years and me growing around it, it started to do very little for me. I don't want to get in more detail, but this is a long topic again. But anyway, lack of guidance. So I was in a very dark place, and but yeah, letting myself cry and like looking for the hope, looking for the meaning, looking for the growth. Like always positive. Mm, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna like pray super super hard to get some guidance through the dreams, which I've had in the past. Like, I've had some clear revelations and visions and specific messages from characters in my dreams to help me, that have been key in me feeling better and me knowing what to do next. Like, I'm being super honest, like crazy things. Like, when one gets in contact with this kind of dream work and depth in the psyche, there's no escaping the possibility of life being magic. Like, magic in caps. Like, I'm not talking like no, like we are living a very mysterious experience, and these kind of messages that I've received from dreams are this proof. experienced in my reality, you know, in my anyway. So I was that place, and I prayed. I was like, please, 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 I want to, I need some guidance in the dream tonight. Like I need something, like give me something, 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 like. And I got such a clear, vivid, strong dream. Like, so I recommend, I recommend everyone to to follow what Simone Weil talked about. It's it's waiting, it's wanting from a genuine place and persisting in it that does bring the light at some point. And look, now that I mentioned Simone Weil, I have to say I don't agree with a lot of the parts that she embodied. Like this martyr figure, I have a lot to say about it. I want a life of enjoyment, not a life of sacrifice. Although there is pain, so let's make the most of it, but not turning it into the whole meaning of life. Like, so I have a lot of comments on her, as per usual. Um, no, but I love her. There's such a big part of her which I think is super hopeful and necessary, but it's not as close to my path as one would think, because I do talk or think about her quite a lot. Like she has marked, like when I found her and her thought, and like she made a very strong impression on me. That's why she's important, because I felt very not alone reading her or listening about her or whatever, and her perspective on suffering and pain, and her experience of it being meaningful. But but yeah, if you don't know William Blake, I recommend you at least like look into his life or some documentaries that are online, because he is uh he is a guide for me. He's a guide for me. Like he lived like a happy, imaginary, expressive, sexual, spiritual life, like, and full of meaning, and also in his own specific, like very very free way, and still also in contact with other people, like not fully, like I admire a lot of monk figures and other paths. I value other paths, you know, or Hildegard von Bingen, like also a nun, and but an artist, like there's when the intersection with expression, freedom, imagination. This is one of the points in which I don't agree with Simone Weil. Like imagination is not a lie. Imagination can be the exact ladder towards truer realms, truer worlds, like to the true worlds where we're going to go when we die. That's my wish, being able to create, talk, share this hope with other people. Because like it's all good and amazing that I'm creating my own worlds, and that I might be able to experience my own passing towards the other state in a more accepting way, in a more peaceful way. But I want everyone that I love to be able to do it like this as well. And again, this is one of my many weaknesses. I have this want for others. Like I'm not everyone. I'm not. Yeah, I have desire, not only for me, for others even. Attachment to them seeing the light, to them, or at least from a closer perspective to mine. I had this vision once, um, where I saw, or this figure within me saw this fountain, the fountain of light, the fountain, and I saw it, and wow, no, beautiful. And then, but very quickly, I turned around looking for others and being like, oh my god, like, you have to come see this, you have to come see this. Like, you know, and I kept like running away from the light, running away from the fountain, looking for others to bring to there, all the while wasting my time to be able to enjoy the fountain. So I felt like I realized how ridiculous it was to be saying to others, oh my god, you cannot, like you have to see this, don't, we say in Catalan, no tu pots perdre, you can't lose this chance, you can, like, while I'm losing the chance to experience it, and while actually it's by me being so joyful in the light that could, in any case, bring other people close to it, because they would be like, oh my god, she's having so much fun, like, let me go there. Which I think I already do this a little bit, like, I think, and I've been told by some people, like, you know, like, wow, I'm very interested in your point of view because you seem like, you know, like, happier, or most definitely, I'm so happy. Like, there can be so much pain, there can be so much confusion in my life, there can be so many things, but now the way I can hold it and understand it in this way, and the peace or freedom I feel within myself, like, I wouldn't change it for anything in the world. Because that's also the place from which I can also give anything to others. I was now playing with this septum. I know. What do I think? More or less, you have to use your imagination. I like it. I've always liked the septum. I like this like animal vibe. You know, like cow. I like that. I used to have this one, yeah, but I don't know. It always got infected because I have like very oily skin. So, and like other ones I've had like around here, I have had to have them taken away, and also like my boobs and no, my boobs didn't get infected. My nipple piercings didn't get infected, but I took them out because it was like my 18-year-old self, like, I don't know, wanting to be cool. I've already had my cool years. Now it's about my free years. Back to the vulnerability thing, like, I went to this open mic, and that also made me think about this lack of me showing one of my characters. Because in the open mic, you know, there were people doing the typical like singer-songwriting guitar song with the guitar. And look, it's not my style, but I admire so much, so someone that is literally like, well, it depends on the which person, but there was this girl that honestly to me showed a very vulnerable character, and with her naked voice, and she also had like a kind of like a cracked or hoarse voice like me, so also like related to her, and just her and her guitar and speaking from a very vulnerable character. Similar to, it reminded me to the song of Jolene, like saying like, oh my god, like, mm, don't leave me for her, like she's so pretty. Like I don't know, it was a vulnerable character, or to me, it's a very vulnerable position to be in, like, oh my god, I like you so much, please like me, or something like this. I do feel like this sometimes, like, or many times, as I was saying. But to put herself in this character with her naked, cracked voice and her guitar, I was like, whoa. Like I wouldn't. That's not my style. I wouldn't. Maybe it doesn't come naturally to me. This, but but it was very interesting, and it did make me think. But everyone has their own path and their own strengths, and also talking about paths. I guess this chat is not gonna have like a coherent thread, but that's okay. That's me. That's me now. I mean, I'm so organized that I need these spaces where I can just like ramble on about whatever the fuck and change subject. So let me be ADHD for a little while. Um what was it? Oh shit. I forgot. I lost it. I lost it. I lost it. I lost it. The girl. Ah, yeah, path. Path. The path. So, one of the things I also suffer. I mean, it is about vulnerability. This video is about vulnerability. One of the other things I call one of my parasites. One of my other big weaknesses or things I have to work on, or yeah, distortions or ego distortions or darknesses or parasites, or is comparison. Comparison is a hot topic. Comparison in so many ways. Comparison is in itself an untrue tool to analyze or to experience or to see reality. But that's one of my weaknesses, as it is for many other people, as I know. And I was seeing, now I know why I wanted to talk about comparison, because I was talking about this girl and the open mic, and I see so many musicians like following a certain path, or for example, like on Instagram, if it's so unhealthy, like to spend like more than, I don't know, 5 minutes in there, because we're bombarded with all these others people's best beats. But what I was going to say is that most musicians nowadays, or general term pop musicians, not to say classical, and follow this certain path, and now are very active on social media and sharing stuff. And if you want to be known, like, you better be like going to all the open mics or this or that, and like showing and like making music constantly and posting it constantly, and blah 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 blah, so many things. Like, there's a specific path. if you want to be a musician. Supposedly, there's a specific path. There is not a specific path. There is specific path for each person. Like, not everyone should follow the same path. If it doesn't feel good, it's not for you. That's it. Punto y final. Because I'm in, for what I want to create, I cannot do what most people do. I cannot follow this path. But the people that are following that path cannot do what I'm doing. I'm building something much wider, much deeper, that takes much more time, and that means the reward for me of having it finished is going to be like further away. It's about longer term. It's about different type of values. It's not more or less, but it's just different. I could also, like, I can write a song and play it tomorrow in an open mic or go, but that doesn't fulfill me, because what fulfills me is creating some this, that, and each one of us has to find whatever it is that would fulfill us and follow it. And I think if we were honest and did this, we would find that it's very different to what we think we have to do and to what we're pressuring ourselves to do. And for me, this is one of the things I've also been reflecting upon, that my path is my path. And path in Spanish means peace. And my path is my path. What gives me peace is following my path. And yeah, these people can be showing a lot constantly, but because they are also socializing a lot, because they're going to these places, because they're also having to prepare these short presentations, because they don't have the time, the loneliness, the space required to create the style of thing that I'm creating. So it's completely different. I mean, and I appreciate and admire, as I was saying, like, and I even get like jealous that wouldn't be my path. Like, why couldn't I not be content by doing this? Well, I cannot. So, and it's even in the details, like, I don't appreciate socializing with people I don't like. I don't appreciate it exactly. And I know, a lot of people say, and it's true, you have to be someone that can do contacts, that can, and I'm going to do it in the way I can and want when the time is right, in my own way. But it's not for me. It's not for me. It's not for me. Vale? It's not for me. It's not for me. And every part has the good and the bad side. Like, yeah, some people can be showing a lot, can be this, that, but some others of us, and I know also a couple of people, are in a deeper phase of looking within and finding a much more specific and unique expression of who we are. So whenever it will come out, it's going to be also more weight what we're putting out. I'm being serious. Some people may not like to hear this, but it's true. Like, the more you look within, the more you have to actually give, and the more we're constantly expressing or focused on the external connection, the less time we have for the internal connection. And I think it's not that I'm saying that there shouldn't be external connection, but for me, the root has to be very strong, at least for me, to be comfortable working on the external or focusing. Like, there's gonna be a time for me to do contacts, or there's gonna be a time for me to do the performance of what I'm doing, of what I'm writing now, or it's gonna be a time for me to be in that phase of expression, contact with the outside. I'm not denying that. I'm saying I want to be so rooted in the within and so feeling already meaningful, feeling already at peace with what I'm giving to the world and at peace with my path, that the external also feels good, and that I don't lose this core message. I found a fountain. I'm building now the strong enough container to carry the water and to give it to other people to show it. But some people are going like, okay, I'm gonna take a little water and like carry, boom, boom. For me, that's not my path. I'm building a big, strong clay, metal, wood, I don't know, the kind of container, fairy dust container, and big one, so I can carry the most water possible without losing any drops on the way. It's just two different paths. It's two different paths. And also, I was saying to my therapist, like, what scares me the most is that because I know the fragility of this life, I might die in the weight of this. Like, having such long-term goals means I'm risking not being able to pour anything out because many things can happen. But I've come to terms with that, or I'm coming to terms. I haven't come to terms with it. I'm coming to terms with that. If I die on the path, I will die on the path. I will continue from where I left in my next reincarnation, and at least I will have stayed true to myself and to what gives me inner peace and enjoyment. Hopefully, if I die before I finish my album, though, someone from my family or someone is going to get the tracks out even if they're not finished. That I have to say. But or the story and the story behind it also, the what's going to be the performance. But yeah, God is watching. God is the only one watching. My mom gave me this Christmas because she knows I love this image. This is how I feel. Time for me to go, I think, because it's 48 minutes talking. Yeah, nothing more to say. I think I'm gonna have some snacks now. Go on with my day. My day is going to continue with a shower, with some series, with some food in my bed, and with some of these. Goodbye.